Live from FedEx Forum, this is The Odds Couple on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker live from FedEx Forum.
What's up, y'all? Welcome into The Odds Couple
Single on
here on Grind City Media. It's Monday. It's a smaller show. It's more intimate, more thoughtful, some say, more spiritual. I'm Lang Whitaker. I'm your host, and I'm here with CJ Hurt. Rob Fisher is on the way to Charlotte with the Memphis Grizzlies to take on the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow night. John Roser is in parts unknown. We don't know where he is. He was here for the Chris Vernon show. He left.
I think you brought up this show being the more spiritual version. I think
Roser's pretty.
He had to go center his chi.
On Sundays, sometimes he'll post like church songs and stuff on Instagram. Have you ever noticed that?
No.
Not every Sunday.
No, I don't think I follow Rosa on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't. Do I follow you? I don't think I follow anybody up here.
I don't know. I just see all your food posts on Instagram.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only reason I'm on Instagram. Give me the fat ass food videos and give me the jokes. That's all I'm here for.
I see Roser on Twitter a lot because he does the grok stuff on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. So anyway, Roser's not here. Rob's not here. I'm here. CJ's here. We're just going to get you through today, get you ready for the big game tonight. It's the only game tonight, I think. I was looking because
there are a couple of NBA games.
Yeah, like makeup games or something. Yeah, because they always try to kind of leave this night alone. There's no baseball tonight. At least the Braves don't play, and that's all I care about. So we can get you ready for the big game. But to get to the game, we have to get to how we got there. And the Final Four happened over the weekend. We saw on Saturday night, there was two games. And if you saw it in between the weather updates here in Memphis, because we did have some tornadoes and bad storms, the first game, I didn't really watch that much of because they cut the sound off on it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to watch the Grizzlies instead.
Okay.
So I just kind of kept an eye on the score, Florida-Auburn game. Florida got the 6-point win. Every time I looked, it was like a close game. They were kind of hanging around, both teams. But Florida got the win. Auburn, they've been all season the best team in college basketball, arguably. But they lost in the SEC tournament. They lost here in the semifinals. They lost a couple games toward the end of the season. Felt like they just kind of ran out of steam a little bit.
Yeah. I think they just played good teams. It's
part
not
of
like
it.
They lost in the second round to somebody. They made it to the Final Four. They made it to the semifinal. Florida's a good team. Clayton Jr. is phenomenal. People are comparing his run to what Kemba Walker went on in that 11-game stretch from the Big East tournament all the way through to the national championship game. Auburn's losses aren't to, no disrespect to any of these programs. All of them have very good seasons.
They lost to Texas A&M, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Top 10. Florida, top 4 in the nation, right? Like that's their losses here down the stretch.
That was 3 of the last 4. Bruce Pearl came out and he was like, I'm not worried about it. He's like, we're playing great teams. We've lost some of these games.
And they got to a Final Four. Like I don't want to do the Auburn fell apart thing with Auburn basketball. They just lost to a team that was better than them. Yeah. They're one of the 4 best teams in the nation. They lost to probably the best, maybe the second best team in the nation. That's all.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out what Florida is.
Right.
Because it's hard to kind of tell. I don't really know. We'll get to that in a second. Duke-Houston game was interesting, too, because every time I looked over there, Duke was running away with the thing. Grizzlies game ended. I watched the last, 15 minutes of the game.
Exciting.
And that was the best part of the game to watch. Yeah, Houston just kept clawing away, getting in there. And then the last 5 minutes, I was like, no way. No, this is not happening. Even when there was a 6-point game with 10 seconds left, you're like, there's not happening. And Duke just could not get out of their way. I felt like for a large part of this country who hates Duke, that was exhilarating night.
Everybody but folks in Durham, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It was an exhilarating night. I thought it was I don't know. Who do you blame for it? I don't know. It felt like a team effort. Everybody was screwing up down the stretch. Flag got that shot at the buzzer, to win it for you. It hit the rim. It was like the last Ja call 12 game winner in Detroit earlier that night was, he got it up on the rim, or that was in Miami, right? He got it up on the rim and it just kind of bounced around and finally went in. Cooper Flagg's was half a centimeter from going in. Yeah. He got it up there, just didn't get the roll.
I think that if you told Shire and the rest of the Duke Nation or Blue Devil Nation, whatever they call themselves, that you'd have that shot, that player taking that shot to win it, I think they'd all say, yep, give us that result in this game. We will ride with what Cooper Flagg does. Had a really good game, 3 for 4 from 3, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for a freshman. Really, really good game, but it shouldn't have come to that. I don't know who exactly to place the bulk of the blame on. I left that game thinking, holy hell, Houston. Like, that's who I blamed for what happened was Houston. I feel like it wasn't necessarily about Duke falling apart late, which they did, but it felt like Houston took that from them. Like, I'm not sure who would have had the mental strength to not fumble that game away if Houston is out there scrambling and playing and fighting and clawing the way that they did in the last 2.5, 3 minutes.
They gave them Duke like that. Duke gave Houston that, what was it, a 5-point game, and they gave the guy a 3 with whatever, then sold the inbounds pass. Yeah. And you're like, all right, like Duke, like this is where you're supposed to. This is where all these 5-star recruits. This is when you're supposed to have the advantage. I wonder how much of that though was Houston just wearing on them. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what Houston does. They just wear you out physically and mentally. And by the end of that game, Duke just looked like they were worn out, and Houston was able to just kind of snatch it at the very, very end of the game.
Going into that game, everything that I'm going to say is coming from the workplace Slay.
Oh, the notebook?
Yeah, I'm not going to keep holding it up. Coming into that game, Houston was 32-0 when holding opponents to 70 points or fewer this season. And they went out there and Duke scored 67, and they're 33-0. Houston also 4-2. I think that changed now. I think that might be 5-2 straight up and 6-1 against the spread as an underdog since 2020. And they were underdogs against Duke right there. There's something about this Houston team, and I mentioned it on Jessica's show. It's scary. Like, it startles me watching them play defense. It is, there's a dude open in the corner. Holy hell, not anymore. Yeah. There's somebody there all of a sudden. It's like a jump scare type of thing. It's like everywhere.
It's like a horror movie. It's like Halloween. Like, you know the guy's going to pop out from the closet.
You know he's there.
But you can't figure out exactly when and where. Like, that's... And you feel like if Houston can just hang around, like, you don't... Like, that's the worst thing. If you're like Duke... You can't feel comfortable with a 10-point lead.
Is it Michael Myers who just kind of just lurks about?
I'm
or is it Jason?
I'm not a horror movie.
Really?
Friday the 13th is Jason. Right?
Yes.
Halloween's Michael Myers.
Yes.
And Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
I don't need to be scared watching a movie. Life is scary enough. Like, why do I need to watch a movie to?
Do you do roller coasters?
Yeah.
Okay.
But those
is it not the same sensation?
No, but those take 2 minutes. A movie takes 90. I don't want to deal with that. Also, roller coaster, you don't see someone like get their head cut off or something like that.
Depends on the roller coaster, but I got you.
Yeah, I guess so. Depends which theme park you go to. Because some of the places where I was a kid.
No, but honestly, with the Houston defense, it does feel Michael Meyer-ish, where they just sort of hang around, and then boom, they're in striking distance, and they can strike because they're so efficient offensively. They might not take a ton of shots. They don't necessarily push the pace or the tempo, but when they shoot it, they're taking a high-quality shot, and that ball is going to go in.
They had like that little stretch where they hit a bunch of threes. It was right before halftime, and they kind of made you think, all right, maybe they got something here. For a while, I was like, this is going to be a blowout. This does not look good. It also feels like Houston they're smart enough because it's like a bunch of older players and Kelvin Sampson. They just figure it out. The longer you let them stay in the game, they're going to figure out how to attack you and how to break you down and figure out how to beat you.
And even if you can get them, which I don't think anybody has this season, even if you get them like arm's distance, there's enough fight in them and enough belief in what they're doing to where they don't panic and they don't scramble. They don't all of a sudden start taking shots that aren't the shots that they want to take. We don't talk enough or give enough credit for players and teams who take shots that they want to take. We'll give a ton of credit for taking open shots, but just because you're open doesn't mean that's a good shot. You're open. oftentimes you're open for a malevolent reason, and Houston's not taking the bait on those things. They take the shots that they want to take. On the topic of Houston's 3-point shooting, they're shooting 40% from three on the season, and in the tournament, they're shooting 41%, 45.5% against Duke, 36% against Tennessee, 39% against Purdue, 50% against Gonzaga, and 35% against Southern Illinois, I think is who they played in that first round matchup. So they're over 40% from three in the tournament. They can make shots, and they're making shots because they're taking good quality shots.
Yeah. Well, and Florida's been making like some crazy shots. Like I don't know. I would say like at some point you think Florida's not going to be able to make all those shots, and Clayton Jr. is going to start not being able to make those, but they keep going every game. It's like sort of like with Auburn, you keep being like, some point their luck's going to run out, and then they kept winning every game. At some point with Florida, you're going to be like, some point that luck runs out, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But we'll get to Florida Duke.
Okay.
Did you watch any of the women's NCAA championship yesterday?
I caught all of it.
UConn, South Carolina.
I caught all of that beat down. Holy hell.
I had it on, and then by the second half, I was kind of like, all right, well, once it got like out of hand.
Midway through the third?
Yeah, like it was like a 40-point game or something, and I was like, all right, that's enough of this.
If you get up by 30 on South Carolina and Dawn State at any point in the game, call the game, you get to raise a banner. And they just beat the hell out of South Carolina earlier in the regular season. Also, like not early in the regular season, it was during conference play. South Carolina and UConn took a break from conference play to play one another, and UConn beat the hell out of them then too. This UConn team, this South Carolina team, void of because we only make them once in a generation, but void of a once-in-a-generation big. And they went boom, boom. They went Asia Wilson to Aaliyah Boston. Yeah. And not having that type of player on Dawn Staley's team, it really shows, like, okay, there's some true deficiencies out here on the perimeter. It's one of those things where they don't shoot the ball particularly well from deep, and they haven't under Dawn Staley. And UConn was just able to take advantage. And then when UConn went small, the bigs for South Carolina couldn't keep up, and the guards couldn't keep up. Paige Beckers, Azzy Fudd, and why am I blanking on the freshman's name? But all of them had incredible games and incredible tournaments. It was good stuff.
I saw the Celtics played Friday night during the women's Final Four, or right around that time. And Joe Mazzulla was doing his pregame press conference, and they came out to ask him a question. He was like, "Can you guys hurry up? Gino and UConn are playing right now." And he was saying, like, to him, the way Auriemma kind of runs the whole program, the way he relates to players, the way he does everything is kind of as good as it gets. And I was thinking, like, last year Dawn Staley and South Carolina and Kim Mulkey's been a big topic of discussion. Gino's kind of like fallen out of the discourse a little bit the last couple of years because they were so good in the 90s and 2000s or whenever it was. They were so good for so long, but feels like Gino kind of hasn't been in that mix the last 4 or 5 years. I feel like he kind of got his flowers this year though, because I mean, how many titles has he won? Like 8?
This is 12 for
10?
them?
Yeah,
I think it's 12.
A bunch. Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome forever, but it does feel like the last couple of years there's been some new blood, which probably was helpful in women's college basketball, just kind of popularized a little bit. But I was surprised to see people kind of sleeping on Gino a little bit, and they looked awesome.
Sarah Strong is a player I forgot, and I'm looking now at UConn's Final Fours.
Yep.
All right, so 2016 was the last championship. They went to the Final Four in 2017, 2018, 2019, 21. We didn't play one in 2020. Right. 22, they didn't get to the Final Four in 23, 24, and 25. So anybody not named Gino with that type of a stretch, it's like, holy hell, that's impressive. But we grew so accustomed.
People got complacent
to what they were doing when they were winning all of the championships. 95 was a championship. 2000 was a championship. 02, 03, 04. 09, 2010, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. We were used to that. Yeah. And for it to be this long, since 8 or 9 years since they won a championship, really, really impressive, and speaks to your point about the growing diversity and greatness that is in greatness and parity in women's college basketball right now.
And I mean, everyone's talking about USC, and then Juju Watkins gets hurt. Yep. UCLA is good. You know, like
UConn beat the dog dookie out of UCLA.
I was just looking. They have like next year's top 100 for women's college basketball, and UCLA is number 1 going into the year. Because Lauren Betts' sister is going to be there next year. 6'4" Sienna Betts. I like this. It says she's the number 2 recruit in the country according to Hoop Girls. GURLZ.
Okay.
I love that. That's a great name. But yeah, so that was this weekend too. And then we also had the Grizzlies, who got off the schneid a little bit. And, I think going into this last stretch of the season, people kind of thought, the Grizzlies, you might win one in Miami. That game in Detroit's going to be a hard one. And the Grizzlies had Ja Morant last-minute scratch, and they pulled out the win. Like, that was an impressive game. Dez was awesome. Detroit was a little undersized, especially with Jalen Duren didn't play. What's his name had foul trouble. Beef Stewart had foul trouble. And they ended up, like, down the stretch, they had Cade Cunningham guarding Jaren, which is not good for anybody on Detroit's side. But the Grizzlies, I thought they just hung in there and they played so well. Like, it feels like I said it last week toward the end of the week when they lost to Golden State and lost to the Celtics. Those games were both losses, but there were moments in those games where it felt like a kind of change of something was coming. And it felt like that might have happened a little bit more on Saturday night with the way they played. I just came from practice. And before we were let into practice, we were in the hallway just waiting for them to end practice, not allowed to see what was happening. But there was a lot of yelling and celebrating and cheering each other on and stuff happening in that room. So I don't know. Maybe the guys are like kind of turning that corner.
Maybe.
Is it too late for that?
Yeah. Turn the corner to what? From what to what?
From losing every game to winning some of them.
Yeah, they can turn that corner. Yeah, that's the corner, just winning a decent amount of games down the stretch. What is it? 4 games, 5 games? This is the last week of the season.
Yeah.
So ending on a bit of a high note. Yeah, they can absolutely do that. I was watching that game, and I was reminded that I saw both Cade Cunningham and Zach Edey when they were in high school.
Yeah.
The Hoop Fest tournament up here. I ended up going one year, and I went to see the Lawsons play. So I saw some of the Lawsons. I can't remember which Lawson it was. Yeah. Kennedy Chandler was there as well, and somebody was like, "Oh, Cade Cunningham is the best high school prospect we've seen since somebody or another." It's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch him play. And holy hell, Cade Cunningham was phenomenal then. He's still great now. And then I saw Zach Edey when he was at IMG in that same tournament. So it was really, really fun to see them out there on the court as NBA players. And we just say, hey, I remember when they were high schoolers.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the game goes, Zach Edey with another monster rebounding performance.
21.
I think that it helps. And I not that I think, everybody thinks this. Everybody is aware of this. That offense where everybody's on the perimeter and just cutting through, not really Zach Edey's strength. Edey's strength is setting the screen, rolling, and being around the rim. And I feel like right now he is around the rim a whole lot more than he has been throughout the course of the season, and is paying off for the Grizzlies and for Zach Edey in particular in the way that he rebounds. It's one of those things where Zach Edey isn't the modern big.
Sure.
You can't ask him to do the things a modern big does.
Shoot threes?
Yeah, or just switch on the perimeter on defense. Yeah. No, just...
He's too big for that
Zach,
in a weird way.
Just kick it in this little area right here and then grab everything that is missed. If he's not rebounding at an elite level, I'm not sure why you would play him. And if you're not going to put him in positions to be an elite rebounder, I'm not sure why you're running him out there. And so it's good to see somebody decided, hey, we're just going to let him play him to his strengths and away from his weaknesses. I will say, bunch of big rebounding games for Zach Edey, all against undersized lineups. Yeah. I'm not sure when they'll play. I guess the Timberwolves, they'll play a bigger sort of lineup, and let's see what he does there.
Yeah, they'll try. I'm sure Gobert will start and see what he does. I mean, they play at Charlotte versus Minnesota, and then you get Jokic with Denver, and that's a tough game, man, because they got Thursday night here, late game against Minnesota on TNT. It doesn't start till 8:30, and then they play at Denver the next night, less than 24 hours later at altitude against it. But Denver's been struggling a little bit lately.
Jamal Murray's absence is they need a perimeter shot creator. And as good a shot maker as Porter Jr. is, he's not really a shot creator for anybody else. And Russ I love Russell Westbrook. You don't want him in the creator position because he'll end up with a whole bunch of turnovers.
I should have pulled. Did you see Westbrook's post game? Last week they had that game where Westbrook fouled at the buzzer and the guy got the three. I forgot who it was against. So Westbrook hasn't spoken to the media since then. And apparently they've asked every game. There's been 3 games since then. And he's refused to speak to the media. So they made him speak to the media last night. And he just answered every question with, yeah, I'm not sure. No, I think so. And I'm not sure about that.
How hard is that? You could have did that 3 games ago.
Yeah, I know.
Just go out there and do it.
Finally, by the end of it, they came up with some sort of question that didn't end with, asking his opinion. And then he figured out, he kind of answered at the end, but it was almost who said it worthy, which, by the way, we got that coming up anyway. Grizzlies got 2 home games left this season. Thursday night against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then back here on Sunday against the Dallas Mavericks.
Both of those should be playoff type atmospheres. Yeah. They absolutely should be. They need all 4 of these games. And the tiebreakers, Drew Hill has the tiebreaker scenario up. I'm not going to try and go through it, but you need to win.
Just win. That's it. Yeah,
you need to win, and then you kind of got to let the chips fall where they.
And somebody else has got to lose a game or 2, and they will, because there's 5 teams all in the mix for 3 through 8 in the Western Conference. All right, we're gonna take a break. Come back. We're going to talk about tonight's NCAA tournament championship game. We've got some fish nuggets. He left those for me.
Nice.
And we've got Who Said It coming up. You're watching The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker, CJ Hurt, we're with you for the next 40 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, to get you through today and get you ready for tonight's big game. Do you remember when we used to have to do those reads coming out of the commercials? Just made me think about that.
Yeah. Do you want to read something?
No.
Mary J. Blige is coming through.
Yeah.
I think I saw Lil Wayne is coming through. Lil Wayneziana, the tour. Hot Boys are coming through. BG,
Lil
Juvie,
Wayneziana.
Turk. Who?
Yeah.
Oh, Creed coming through.
The Queens. There's the tour with
with Aretha
Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Not Aretha.
Not Aretha. Gladys?
Aretha's dead, I think.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, Gladys Knight.
Shaka.
Shaka. Is it Patti LaBelle?
Yeah, Patti LaBelle is on it, and there's one more.
Yeah.
It's some good stuff coming to the FedEx Forum.
Those are the reads. All right, let's get to tonight's big game, though. It's course, Florida's playing Houston in the NCAA championship. Do you know what time that game is, CJ?
8. Almost got the curse. 7:50. 7:50.
Yeah. I mean, so it's 8:50 East Coast. I know, like, all these newspaper writers are going to complain about it. But I always thought about it, like, if you're a little kid on the West Coast, that's, what, 6:50?
Yeah.
5:50?
Something like
not
that.
5:50.
One of them.
It's not bad. Anyway, Florida against Houston. The Gators are favored by 1.5 in this game. The over-under is set at 140.5. I don't know which way. I'm kind of leaning Houston. I feel like after all the stuff I've read, after everything I've seen, watching these teams play, Houston just feels like they're going to figure out a way to win the games if they can stay in the game. And I feel like Florida's luck's going to run out at some point with the shots they've been making the last week or two.
Clayton Jr. is shooting 10% higher throughout the both tournaments, the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. 10 percentage points higher from 3. So on the season, he's 39%. Right now in the two tournaments, he's shooting damn near 50%. So you would think that would come back down just a tad. Since 2012, teams are 2-8 straight up and against the spread in the round after beating Duke. Houston beat Duke in the Final Four.
2-12?
2-8.
2-8.
2-8 straight up and against the spread.
I don't know. I saw Florida play this year during the regular season. I saw them lose to Georgia this year in the regular season. So I know they're capable of being pretty bad too. Yeah, I guess the question is this a different team or is this just sort of a hot streak they're on right now? I saw a great stat today. I don't have a workplace slate notebook, but I wrote this down on my laptop. Kelvin Sampson has been getting all this talk about, the OG. He's been doing it forever. Todd Golden doesn't get a lot of talk, Florida's coach. I wonder if that's because he got in a lot of trouble in the offseason, but nobody's really talking about Todd Golden. I saw today that he's 39 years old. If they can win tonight, he'll be the youngest coach to win a title since Jimmy Valvano, who was 37 when they beat Houston.
Five-Summer Majama.
Yeah.
On the topic of coach age, since this is coming at you from the Action Network, since 1978, the more experienced coach is 71-45 straight up and 62-53-1 against the spread in the Final Four and National Championship game. That's about 55%.
Which way are you leaning?
Houston, I think that the way that they can defend matters. They'll run Clayton Jr. off of that three-point line. Right now, 32 of 65 from 3 in the 2 tournaments, and he's killing it from 3. But from 2, not necessarily so much. If you force him to put the ball on the floor and go by you and finish at the rim, I think that's your best play with the Gators. He's also not a facilitator. Right, like Cooper Flagg, he puts the ball on the floor. You're like, oh no, he's going to pass it to somebody. You don't have that same fear.
Trying to get points.
He's a bucket getter. And I like the way that Houston defends. Also, Florida turns the ball over a bit too much for my liking. 16 turnovers in that game against Auburn, 17 in a game against Maryland. Whoever's getting the extra possessions it'll matter. It'll make the difference in the game. Both of these teams, really good offensive rebounding teams, 2 of the better offensive rebounding teams in the nation per Bart Torvik. Both of these teams are top 10 in offensive rebounding on the tournament. Houston is averaging 15.6 offensive rebounds per game. Florida not too far behind, 14.1 offensive rebounds per contest.
I just don't know. Florida, like the offensive rebounds, that like against Houston is a different animal than doing it against anybody else, pretty much, because those guys are just. Houston has so many guys who are just bulldogs, and it's tough for Florida. I think if Florida's going to win, Chris Richard has to have a good game for them because Houston's had 2 days now to scheme for Walter Clayton Jr. and they're going to figure out we're going to shut this guy down. Richard's got he's so up or down. He has games where he looks great. He has games where he scores in the single digits. So I think he's got to have a big game. And Houston, I just feel, I don't know. I feel like this is their game.
Both of these are.
I'd probably take the under though.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
That's the one I don't know. What's over on 140?
140.5.
140.5. Yeah. If you're taking Houston to win, That means Houston is going to have
Yeah,
to keep
it'll
Florida
be in
under
the 60s.
70.
It'll probably be in the
So,
60s.
Yeah, so if you take Houston and win, I think the play is also taking the under there. I think LJ Cryer is just a big time player. What did Dick Vitale call him? A prime time PTPer. Prime time player. Like, I think the moment's never too big for him. And I was watching Gary on Friday. You were hosting. You were talking to Jessica about players you trust the most in the Final Four. And she said Clayton Jr., and I understand that. Understandably so. He ended up going for 30 and 30 in back-to-back games. First player since Larry Bird to have back-to-back games in the Elite Eight and the Final Four, 30-plus points. I understand that. But my player I would trust the most was, one, Cooper Flagg, and then two was LJ Cryer. Because it's just, again, not necessarily the same type of production offensively from a stat standpoint, but when it's time to make a bucket and it's time to get a bucket, I can bank on him to go out there and give me a bucket. I believe in the Houston Cougars.
But I don't feel like Cryer's like you mentioned, Cooper Flagg's a facilitator.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that with Cryer either. Like, he can just score. Like, and we should give a little shout out here to John Roser. Because he was big on Houston 2 months ago or whatever. We started talking about who to keep an eye on, what teams we liked, whatever. And Roser came in with Houston, and we were all kind of like, no. Roser was right. He's right sometimes. Not very often. CJ, I went to the eye doctor the other day. I got new contacts.
Okay.
And they came in the mail today, and I put them in, and I think my vision's worse.
Isn't that the case? When you put in new contacts, don't your
I
eyes
hope
have to
that's
take
what I'm hoping. Like,
take a while to adjust?
I don't know. I'm walking around today. I'm thinking, man, I might have to call this dude. And like, do I get a refund? Like, how does this work? I don't know how it works. I'm hoping my eyes just need to like a day or two to get accustomed to them. But right now, like the camera is a little blurry from my left eye, and it used to not be. My right eye is pretty good. The left eye,
a little blurry.
If I blink a few times, it's all right. Okay. So I'm hoping that means it just needs to settle in.
Yeah, got to get adjusted to the. Is it a new strength?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, got to get used to the new strength.
I went in there and they were like, "Hey, what contacts are you wearing?" I was like, "The ones I got last time." And they were like, "Oh, these you should have run out of contacts about a year ago." And I said I ordered double last time, and he was like, "No, you didn't." I just like straight up lied. And then he goes, well, I kind of stretched him a little bit, you know. And he was like, yeah, you should have run out over a year ago. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here.
Well, look at you being resourceful with your eyes.
I mean, contacts are expensive. I think all that stuff is like going to the eye doctor. It's not a cheap proposition, you know.
That's why I've never gone.
And they've got it like rigged now where you have to go once a year. You can't get new contacts unless you have a new prescription.
Okay.
So like you can't just call the contact place 1-800-contacts free plug. You can't just call them and be like, hey, I want new contacts. You have to have a new prescription every time. So it's like Big Eye is like gotten involved, and screwed this thing up. You want to do some fish nuggets?
No.
Rob left us some fish nuggets.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with the NCAA tournament. Walter Clayton Jr. of Florida is the first player with back-to-back 30-point games in the Elite Eight or later of a single NCAA tournament since Larry Bird.
Yeah,
1979.
Anytime you can be mentioned with somebody like Larry Bird and or Kemba Walker in a tournament run, you're doing something right.
Well, Larry Bird did not win the tournament.
He didn't. That was the first Bird Magic game.
Right? Yeah. Paige Beckers.
Hooper.
Is
Bucket getter.
Only player, male or female, to have beaten a number one seed 6 times. In the NCAA. I mean, the more amazing thing is that she wasn't a number one seed all those times.
Was she not? Does it say that she wasn't?
Oh, that's true. I guess maybe she was, and they just beat number ones all the way. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Because you would think, like, I mean, UConn's going to be a top
one seed. Yeah.
But that is pretty amazing.
Still, to beat 6 of them, like that's impressive.
Yeah. NBA, Carmelo Anthony,
Hall of Famer,
played more games than Joel Embiid since 2014.
I'm sorry? Run that by me again?
Because Carmelo retired in what year?
Melo retired, what, 19?
Let's see.
He wasn't playing in the bubble, was he?
He played 19 seasons in the NBA. 2023.
23.
He retired. And Embiid, let's see, he sat out, his first 2 years?
Yeah.
Embiid's played 452 games since 2014. Carmelo played more.
goodness. And my man's been retired 2 years.
Yeah.
Shout out Melo getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, congrats. I was I've told the story before, but when I was at Slam, we had a rookie diary in the NBA part of the magazine, and Carmelo's agent reached out to us and was like, "Hey, he's going into the NBA." This is when he was coming out of Syracuse. They're like, he wants to be the rookie diary. And I ghost wrote the rookie diary. So I would talk to the rookie on the phone a couple times a month and like help shape it and write it and whatever. And so I was like, hey, let me just go to talk to Carmelo and just make sure we can get along and everything. So the morning of the 2003 NBA draft, I went to breakfast with Carmelo Anthony at the restaurant in the hotel where all the draftees were staying. And Carmelo was like, he didn't say a word the whole meal. It was the most uncomfortable meal. He had his buddy, his mom was there, his agent. I was there with a couple of guys from Slam. And we just kind of, he like if the floor could have opened up and swallowed Carmelo, he would have been cool with that. Like he did not, he clearly was like, and look, it was the morning he was going to get drafted. There was bigger things on his mind. I get it. Yeah. But he was pretty awkward. And then we started doing the diary and I started talking to him every week and we had a great relationship. Years later, I was like, hey, man, do you remember that breakfast we had? And he just started cracking up. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. He was like, that's just kind of how I was back then. If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't open up to you. And, now I trust you. But shout out Melo. Like,
Melo's in. Billy Donovan is in as a coach. Dwight Howard. Maya Morris, Sylvia Fowles. Sue Bird is in. Yep. Did I say Danny Crawford?
No, but
Danny Crawford is in, and Mickey Arison is in, as well as the 2008 Redeem team. That team is getting put into the Hall of Fame as well. So shout out everybody in Hall. Do you got a Dwight Howard story? I feel like you would have.
I do.
Bumping into got you.
Have you ever seen the picture of him with a shattered backboard behind him? Like, I was there. That was for a Slam photo shoot, and the photographer was like, "Hey, just dunk it," And the photographer wasn't even like set up. We were like, "You don't even really have to dunk it. Just jump up there like you're gonna dunk it, and he'll take a picture." Yeah. And Dwight jumped up there and dunked it, and it sounded like a gun went off. We were in his old high school gym.
Oh,
and like he hadn't gotten drafted yet. It was like still. And it would sound like a gun went off, and I turned around, and there's glass like everywhere. And Dwight has like cuts all over his arms and stuff because the glass sprayed out and cut him. So he's got little like blood coming down his arms and stuff. But I scooped up a handful of the glass. I still have it at home.
Nice.
Yeah, from that photo shoot. The best part of that whole day was I flew in, I went to his house, and his dad was like, let's go to the gym for the photo shoot. And I had a rental car, and the dad's like, you can follow me. He goes, it's about a mile. I was like, all right. So I followed them there. It took us like 25 minutes to get there. When we got there, I was like, I thought you said it was a mile. And he goes, well, a country mile. That's such a good line. All right, let's get back to the
Nuggets.
To the Nugs. Let me find them. All right. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 56-10 this season when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scores 25-plus points. That's tied for the most team wins in 25-point games in a single season with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 56 with the Bucks in 71-72.
Did they win it that year?
The Bucks, 71-72. I don't know. I do know that the Thunder lost last night, and it was the first game all season that SGA shot no free throws.
Keeping him off the line is easier said than done.
He likes getting to the line. Let's keep going. Starters for the Knicks this season are averaging 95 points per game. That would be the highest scoring average for their team starters for a season since the 86-87 Boston Celtics.
There's a lot riding on those shoulders, boy.
Yeah.
The Bucks won 70-71,
not in
71-72, yeah.
86-87 Celtics, I think they won the title that year. That was Bird, Ainge, all those, Dennis Johnson. I think that was the year Bill Walton came off the bench for them. Anyway, career goals. Ovechkin, 859. Gretzky, 895. Gretzky, 894. And that's in the same exact number of career games, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ovechkin. Shout out Ovechkin. I don't even watch hockey. I know what he did was pretty amazing.
What year was that? Celtics?
86-87.
Celtics won 85-86.
So the year before, yeah.
Yeah. So 86-87, is that
That's the year they averaged 95 points. Their starters did.
Is that the Pistons? Did the Pistons win it that year?
No, it must have been the Lakers.
Lakers
the 80s,
and then the Pistons
it was
went,
back and forth.
Pistons went
like
87,
89
88,
or something like that. Yeah.
87, 88, 89. Oh, excuse me. 87, 88, 88, 89 were the Pistons. They won the last two of the decade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ovechkin. That was a that was a record I didn't think anybody would break. Now, I'm not a hockey expert, but I think if you ask...
Is it amazing? I don't know.
Yeah, if you ask somebody who knows hockey like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe they say, yeah, maybe Ovechkin can do it, but I don't think
Ovechkin's been playing forever.
He's been playing since 04.
Yeah.
I don't know where you were. I was in high school.
Let's see.
I was still, trying to make it out of NBA.
Ovechkin is 39 years old.
Yeah.
Although there's a picture of him here with his helmet off and he looks like he's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Like he's had a hard life. I mean, that's a hockey life, though. Like, those dudes get beat up every single game. All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back. It's going to be time for the game show that has swept the country. Who said it? We're going to do it when we get back here. You're watching The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Yeah. Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Welcome back to the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. It's Monday. It's the smaller Odds Couple. I'm sitting here with CJ Hurt. We've been talking you through the games over the weekend and the big game we got coming up tonight. So let's now go to the game show that has swept the country. The game show that has been ripped off by the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN. It's time for Who Said It? And we look at press conferences, broadcast, different things like that, and try to guess who said things that are stuck in our minds from the last week. And CJ, as you know, we sometimes we start with bonus clips. We have a bonus clip today to start with. Jacob, you want to go ahead and play it?
Typically a nice steak, sweet potato, green beans.
Get to know
my middle name is Leonard, but it's spelled like differently. So a lot of people say Leonard, but I don't have an R in my middle name. It's Leonard, like Leonard. My spirit animal would either be a tiger, because I have the eye of a tiger.
Oh, God.
Or
a giraffe?
It would be a lion, because I'm the king of the jungle. A platypus is a platypus. It's a duck-billed anteater with a beaver tail.
What?
My favorite platypus of all time is Perry the platypus from Phineas and Ferb. So that's how I know the nice details of what a platypus is. If I was to be the first to discover life outside of Earth, my next move would be inviting friends over for this new Earth party that I'm about to throw, and probably looking for water so I can have something that's sustainable, so I can live on this new planet.
I think we're going to get you to come around on Jameis.
I doubt it very seriously, Lang. I meant to text you guys. I forget where I was. Oh, I was at the new wing spot downtown, the Coop. I was over there for lunch the Thursday because we had odds couple. So I was like, I didn't bring lunch. I'm going to go run over here, give me some lunch. Food was great, nice little ambiance. I was the only one in there because of the rain. And looked up on the TV. It was like, oh, they're showing old NFL games. It's the Titans versus the Bucks. Jameis Winston is quarterback. Look up at the screen. He threw a damn interception.
Well, that was the year he had 35 interceptions or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a good old Jameis. Never lets me down.
What do you think the Giants do? Because they signed Jameis, they signed Russell Wilson. They've got the 3rd pick in the draft, right? And it looks like Shedeur will be there.
I think if he's there, they'll take him. But they're the Giants. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Who knows?
Doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's there. Why? If you could get him and it's looking like you can with the 3rd pick, you could get one of those quarterbacks beforehand, right? We knew that. You could probably come away with either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders if you're in the top 3. I'm not sure why then you go out and
sign 2 quarterbacks.
Sign a Jameis. You sign Jameis, you draft Shedeur, Jameis, you get going, and then by week 3, you're like, all right, Jameis, sit it down.
Yeah.
Or you sign Russ and say, all right, Shedeur, you'll learn behind Russ for a season, and then
because Russ doesn't want to sit it down.
No.
Yeah.
And he's probably not going to play poorly enough to sit it down. Jameis Winston plays 3 games as your favorite team's quarterback. You'll be screaming at them, sit Jameis down, please.
I'm just glad we get another year of content from Jameis.
Oh, it's
great.
Year. This is
great content.
Decades of Jameis now.
Yeah. Favorite of the odds couple. All right, let's get to who said it. Here's clip 1. CJ, the person says, I'm aware of an ACC school who had, apparently, I don't care to prove this or whatever, but I've heard from multiple different people around the country, there's a certain team that already has been having Bluetooth to the quarterback before he was even a thing. Who said it?
That sounds like something Dabo would complain about. I'm going to go Dabo Sweeney. He's either the one complaining about it or he's the one who's already been doing it. I'm going to go Dabo.
You're almost right.
Oh, who is it?
Of
Connor
an ACC school who had
your favorite.
Apparently, I can't. I don't care to prove this or
Why
whatever, but I've
Michigan
heard from multiple different people
he's a Michigan fan.
around the country that there's a certain team that had already been having Bluetooth to the quarterback before it was even a thing.
Well, you can't say something like that and then just not care to prove
apparently
it.
Apparently, he was talking about Clemson.
Well, that makes sense.
From what I read.
Listen, allegedly. Man, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You got to find a way to get a leg up.
If anyone knows, it's Connor Stallions.
Damn right.
He got caught.
National champions, baby. Don't you forget it.
All right, clip 2. The reporter says, I like the Steel Magnolias. Is this a message about toughness for your team? Coach says, I'm a Louisianian. This is our state flower.
Kim Mulkey?
Points in the last 7 minutes. What have you seen from your group defensively?
I just like
toughness. Just toughness. Betts is a handful in there. I've coached bigs. I know how hard it is to defend in there. And we got her in some foul trouble. And we're missing too many gimmies down there. We got to start making those shots. Hey, it's Elite 8, Holly. We're here to stay.
I like the Steel Magnolia. Was this a message about toughness for your team today?
I'm a Louisiana girl. This is our state flower.
Thank you.
I don't want to like Kim Mulkey, man.
I didn't mean either. She is funny. She's like, is this a message? No.
It's just a safe flower. I'm a Louisiana girl. Yeah.
All right. Clip 3. He told me he loved me. I told him I hated him.
Oh, that is Paige Becker's about Gina Auriemma.
That's right.
To share about that moment specifically.
Yeah, again, just gratitude for all that coach has meant to me and how much he shaped me to the human I am, to the basketball player I am throughout this entire 5 years, and just putting it all together in one hug, what our journey has been together. He told me he loved me, and I told him I hated him. So but we both love each other, even though we hate each other some days.
That's awesome. That relationship right there is great. And as a coach, you would hope that your players think as highly of you as Paige Beckers does of Gino. The clip that was making its way on my feed, I saw it a couple of times on social media. I wasn't on a whole bunch this weekend, but I did hop on to fire off a message on the Blue Sky about UConn, and then ended up surfing on Instagram for a little bit. It had to be the year after COVID, so 2021 season, I think. Paige Beckers makes a shot. Gino has his back turned and running down the court. Paige just winds up and slaps him on the ass, to which Gino responds by looking over his shoulder, pulling his mask down, and scowling. Hilarious stuff. It's great. Love that relationship between those two, and congratulations to Paige Beckers on an incredible collegiate career, man.
I was just looking. So Paige Beckers is the number one consensus in the WNBA draft to Dallas. Number 2 is Dominique Malonga from France. Betts is going back to UCLA, apparently.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Number 3, Sonia Citron, Notre Dame, USC, Lithuania, Maryland. But a bunch of these girls are going back to school, which doesn't help the WNBA teams very much.
Well, it puts pressure on them. Listen, why would I go to the WNBA when my lifestyle is better in college?
I get paid more.
Up your lifestyle.
All right, clip 4 is 2 announcers. One says, they're running wild on Yariel Rodriguez. Announcer 2 says, they're running wild on this pitcher as well. And announcer 1 says, that is the pitcher. Who are the announcers?
Oh, gosh.
You can just give one of them. I'll give it to you.
Chipper Jones. I don't know.
He's not an announcer.
I don't know any baseball announcers.
It's the Mets announcers, Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez.
Soto takes off first pitch. The throw by Kirk is not in time, and Soto's got his first stolen base of the year. So they're running wild on Yariel Rodriguez. They're running wild on this pitcher as well. That is the pitch. Oh, sorry.
Keith's the best.
He says that with such disdain. Like, how dare you try and correct me?
Oh, sorry.
You brought this up, I feel like last week. I can't remember if it was a Monday show or the Thursday show. We seeing more stolen bases in baseball. Is that something, if I can get a player prop on over under stolen bases, take the over? Okay.
Always. People are running wild on the pitchers and the pitchers. All right, here we go. Clip 5. My daily discipline is write, call, email, text. So if you look at my calendar, there's 9 disciplines per day that I do. I'm going to have a quiet time for 1 hour every morning. I'm going to read one book a week. But each day there's a box that says 3 times 25.
3 times 25 is 75. I'm confused. I don't know, man. This seems like somebody who's grounded. So either somebody who's been through something or somebody's old, trying to impart some sort of wisdom on somebody. I'm gonna go with Kelvin Sampson. That's the old man coach that immediately pops in my mind. Who is it?
Write, call, email, text. So if you looked at my calendar, there's 9 disciplines
Buzz Williams
per day that I do.
He handwrites 180 letters.
Have a quiet time for 1 hour every morning. I'm going to read one book a week. So on Sunday, it says one of the boxes.
Just watching this clip, I came away thinking he's a maniac.
But each day, there's a box that says 3 times 25. I'm going to read 25 pages from 3 different books.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, it feels like a lot of structure.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's a coach.
Does he not have kids? He must not have kids.
Or, you tell those little tummy trolls to get the hell out the room, sit down and shut up.
Or he's waking up at like 5 in the morning. He has an hour quiet time every day. He writes 180 letters a week. He's reading 25 pages from a book 3 times. Like
or he's over exaggerating.
Or he's just lying. Yeah. Like, I feel like maybe that's the case because that's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, clip 6, last one. What's going on with basketball right now is crazy, and we don't know everything that's going to come out April 7th. Everyone's on pins and needles because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as their number one answer.
All right, which one of these crybaby football coaches is complaining
April 7th
about
is today. There's a hearing about the pre-NIL days and trying to figure out if schools can just pay money to the players straight up. So get rid of these collectives and stuff and just be able
make
to
them
pay
employees, sign them to contracts. That way, if you want to stop the transfer portal, you're signing to me for 3 years, this amount of money.
So what's going on with basketball is crazy. We don't know what's going to come out April 7th.
I'm going to go, and I feel like I say his name every time one of these types of things pop up, but I'm going to go Gundy. Mike Gundy seems like the type to complain about this. Dabo seems like the type to complain about this as well, but I already said him once, so I don't want to say him. Again, I will go.
He would say something about getting,
Jesus would be involved
getting
somehow.
players who have Jesus as
money's not their number one answer. Jesus is, right? Something like that. I'll go Mike Gundy.
He's got to take a big pause right now and say deep breath. Because what's going on with basketball right now is crazy. And we don't know everything that's going to come out with April 7th.
That man has a great head of hair.
7th. We might be the 7th.
It's like made for wearing a visor.
A lot more information. But, everybody's on pins and needles because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is that we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as the number one answer. Like I've never.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Georgia Bulldogs don't care about money. Money's not our number one answer.
You can love football and love money, right? Like my heart is big enough to love them both. I can love both at the same time. What did the Bible say? You can have as many wives as you can love. You can have as much money and play as much football as you love to do, man.
On Righteous Gemstones last night, Baby Billy started his new show. It's called Teen Jesus.
Oh.
It's like a moody teenage Jesus. And then he thought about changing the name to Teenjus.
Oh.
And then someone else said, that combines them the wrong way. It should just be Gene. I don't know. That's the best show. All right, let's get to tonight's game before we get out of here. The line for the national championship, 1.5. Florida's favored by 1.5. Over under was what, 130, 140? We said 140. Yeah, so I'm going Florida. I'm going Houston. Jeez. Houston plus 1.5, and I'd take the under on that 140.5. CJ, what's your pick?
I will go, it is hard, but I will go Houston as well. I think Kelvin Sampson gets it done, gets the championship. And if Houston wins, that under is going to have to hit.
Yeah.
So I will take the under there also.
We talked about the Grizzlies a little bit. We got only 4 games left in the season. You got 2 home games, 2 road games. Starts on the road tomorrow night at Charlotte, home against Minnesota. On the road at Denver, home on Sunday against the Dallas Mavericks to close out the regular season. And then we'll figure out playoffs when we get to the end of that. Hey, you know what's this weekend?
What?
The Masters.
Oh, nice.
And
the Green Jacket stuff.
The Green Jacket stuff. There's the odds that are out, futures for it, whatever. Scheffler is the runaway favorite. Rory's 2. I was kind of thinking Justin Thomas might be somebody with some value. He's at 22-1. Rory's plus 600. Scheffler's plus 440. And then Colin Morikawa is 3rd. DeChambeau is also 3rd, 14-1. Although, I don't feel like his game is good for Augusta because he just hits the crap out of the ball and then saves it. And if you do that at Augusta, you're going to be in the pine straw the whole time.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll talk more about the Masters on Thursday. They got rained out today. The practice round got totally rained out. So, I don't know. Maybe might make it easier to putt and hit the ball and get it to stick. Yeah, soften up the greens a little bit. All right, well, that's today's Odds Couple. We'll be back on Thursday with a big show. Fish will be back. Roser might be back. CJ might be back. I don't know. I'll probably be here. Either way, Thursday, tune in then. Otherwise, we'll see you here on Grind City Media. That's CJ, Jacob, I'm Lang. See you soon. Bye. Good night.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jerry for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.